What goes to sit, 30,000 seats. Had to get out of reach, to know nothing's out of reach. Mama said she was proud of me, man. And I believe that we all come with wings, and we all come in peace, and we all come to be forever, forever, and ever.
I believe we all come with wings, we all come in peace, we all come to be forever and ever and ever and ever. I believe we all come with wings, we all come in peace, we all come to be forever and ever and ever and ever.
ADT, they lock doors. APC, I cop more. I know I gotta pray to God more. My vision getting tainted a lot more. Face of magazine pages a lot more. And I can see it in their face a lot more. I know that I've been drinking a lot more. Savion Blanc, I captivated a lot more. Me and Josh rock about boy. You talk about hits, you talk about this, you talk about mine, let's talk about yours. No, I'm at the top of your list. Let's talk about grind, let's talk about time. See, I won't be fine till top is off floor. If you can't top this, then please don't talk. Let's change the topic, cause I am not for it. 30,000 feet. Now that's real high. Really when you peer outside, it's what you feel inside. Their whole career's a facade. Can't even look me in my eyes. Got a head full of steam and a heart full of pride. And I came in the game with a veil like a bride. I'm the one with the stripes, old penny. In my lifetime, there's only been one Whitney, one Daryl, one DeWan, and one Denny. 3 Michaels, 1 Barry, and 1 Griffin. New edition, Bob Mike, Ron Ricky. Ground floor and low sport top, a cop thrifting. With the ends low, that's the low end theory. Young James finna blow. Yo, kid, let me when the going gets tough and the tough gets going and your eyes start flowing and your heart gets weary and your days turn to months and your months turn yearly and the years go by and the hills have by trying to kill my vibe. Boy, y'all gon' kill me. Either way I live on, either soul or song, cause I'm still holding on to what y'all won't give me. Can't stop, won't stop, no God gon' hear me.
Cause I wrote it.
30,000 feet.
I can't hear a thing. All I see is blue, but I feel everything. All I see is blue. I can't hear a thing. All I see is blue, but I feel everything. I believe we all come with wings, we all come in peace, we all come to be forever and ever and ever and ever. I believe we all come with wings, we all come in peace, we all come to be forever and ever and ever and ever.
I wrote it at 30,000 feet. What goes to sit, 30,000 seats. Had to get out of reach, to know nothing's out of reach. Mama said she was proud of me, man. And I believe that we all come with wings, and we all come in peace, and we all come to be forever, forever, and ever.
I believe we all come with wings, we all come in peace, we all come to be forever and ever and ever and ever. I believe we all come with wings, we all come in peace, we all come to be forever and ever and ever and ever.
ADT, they lock doors. APC, I cop more. I know I gotta pray to God more. My vision getting tainted a lot more. Face of magazine pages a lot more. And I can see it in their face a lot more. I know that I've been drinking a lot more. Savion Blanc, I captivated a lot more. Me and Josh rock about boy. You talk about hits, you talk about this, you talk about mine, let's talk about yours. No, I'm at the top of your list. Let's talk about grind, let's talk about time. See, I won't be fine till top is off floor. If you can't top this, then please don't talk. Let's change the topic, cause I am not for it. 30,000 feet. Now that's real high. Really when you peer outside, it's what you feel inside. Their whole career's a facade. Can't even look me in my eyes. Got a head full of steam and a heart full of pride. And I came in the game with a veil like a bride. I'm the one with the stripes, old penny. In my lifetime, there's only been
Mad Church Disease, a channel that's all about current events, news, and Christian drama. A channel that's dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Our brothers and sisters who courageously stepped outside the safe bounds of institutional Christianity to tell the truth. A channel whose goal is to help the average person understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. So like, comment, subscribe, and smash the notifications button to be a part of this channel.
Oh my goodness, I'm tied around my my chair. Hang on, guys. I'm here. Thank y'all so very much. Welcome to the Mad Church Disease podcast. I am in the studio, and we definitely do have a special guest with us tonight. I want to just welcome everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me go ahead and bring my guest up on the screen along with myself. Hold on. Let me fix one thing. I tell you, I always forget to turn that overhead light on. It never fails. All right, there we go. I never remember to turn that light on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. He just left. Where'd you go? My guest left. Okay, come on, guest. I'm waiting for him to come back. When he comes back, I will bring him up on the screen. But while we're waiting on him, shout out to there he is. I'm gonna put you on the screen here, Leonard. Just give me a second.
All right, I see you.
All right, I got to do some preliminary stuff here. So let me just welcome everybody from in the chat. Shout out to all of the members, all the supporters of the Mad Church Disease channel. I really appreciate you. Also, if you guys weren't able to catch my other live earlier today, you want to make sure that you do so. Let me do a couple of preliminary things, Leonard, and then we're going to get right into it, brother. First and foremost, let me like I said, send a shout out to all the members and subscribers. If you have not yet subscribed to the Mad Church Disease channel, make sure you do so. Now, while I'm doing this, Leonard, just to pause, did you have a chance to look at those documents I sent you at all? Did you read them?
I didn't see them. No, I didn't get a chance to see them.
Oh, because I
just saw the links. I didn't see the documents.
No,
they must have been on.
No, I put them on a zip file in the email. I sent you an additional email, so they're in the zip file. So just okay. But yeah, I just want to make sure you guys. If you didn't, don't worry about it because I'm gonna go over a couple of things with you, and I want to get your feelings on it so you can tell me. But I want to send a shout out to all 17,000 subscribers. We have crossed the 17,000 mark on yesterday. I'm very honored.
That's awesome.
It's totally awesome. I want to thank you guys for putting your trust and faith in us. We really do appreciate that. I also want to just let you know we actually crossed the 2 million views mark as well. For somebody that, according to other vloggers, we're the section of YouTube that nobody watches. For a very small channel, we're doing quite well. So I want to thank all of you and thank you for your support. I really do appreciate that. Now, we're going to definitely get into some stuff, and you guys know I don't like to waste your time. We get right into the thick of it because we all got lives and we got stuff to do. And I know many of you got to go to work in the morning, so I don't want to keep you guys here all night. So shout out to all of you. The man that you see on the screen is a colleague of mine. I have known Leonard. Leonard, I kept trying to think how long I've known you now for, but I kept doing the math because we've known each other prior to 2015 because we had some years, with the Church Folk Revolution. And so when I did the math, I'm just going to conservatively say 12 years, but I'm thinking it's more like 14 years.
You're probably right on the 14.
Yeah.
So I started coming around the CFR around about 2010-ish, late 2010.
Right.
And I know that things started to ramp up really heavy in 2011. Yeah. So that was an interesting time in my life too. So yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. And I appreciate Leonard. Let me tell you something about this fella. This fellow is a lover of music. He's a lover of a good cigar. That's another thing about Leonard. So you and Daryl actually have that in common. And if you got a really nice cognac, he might be a lover of that cognac too. So I appreciate Leonard. I really
more so Scotch, more so Scotch than the cognac. But we got you.
I got you. I know it's brown. That's all I know is brown.
It's brown. It goes down.
That's all I know. But Leonard was right there with this Duane Youngblood. And throughout the conversation that Leonard and I had the other day, I said, Leonard, I started talking to Leonard about the conversation. Then Leonard hit me with something and it hit me in my gut. And I was like, what? You know how you had those moments of pause? And then I was like, you got to be kidding. I'm like, Leonard, you got to come on and tell the people this story and tell them what happened. So, but I want to take them back, Leonard, first, and then let's bring them forward. I want to set you guys up also and understand when it comes to the revolution, Leonard was a little bit more liberal than the rest of us. One of the things that I loved about the CFR was we all had different opinions and different views, but we still respected one another. We came to something on Fridays called the Fist Fight Fridays. This is where we would just put things out on the table and we would just argue back and forth. But
I forgot about those. Wow. Epic shows. Wow.
Epic shows. But we still loved each other. Like we would leave and we were mature enough to like fight with each other and still come back the next week and be like, okay, I didn't agree with everything you said, but we could still talk. And it's a vast contrast, Leonard, to what we have on the internet today, brother. Like when I came back to this YouTube thing, I could not believe what I ran into, Leonard. I was like, wow, they doing it like that. I'm like, this is a whole different kind of vibe. But I really appreciate Leonard, and Leonard's going to help us. Now, if you all remember a couple of videos ago, I had called Leonard when it really triggered in me about who Duane Youngblood was. And Leonard had made a statement in the video. He was like, well, whatever Youngblood says, believe him. And I kind of felt like a lot of us didn't understand what Leonard was actually talking about when he said, believe him. And so I wanted to give Leonard an opportunity to kind of talk about that. And then we're going to move into some other stuff. So I want you guys to just pay attention. And before I do that, I want to let you guys know, Leonard, I don't know. Do you have a Cash App, Leonard, by the way?
Right now, it's a personal Cash App, LD Robinson 2.
All right. We're going to find out a way. I got to put that up because he said LD Robinson. Moni or somebody put that up for me and make sure we spell it right. And if you guys want to be a blessing to Leonard, I definitely want to make that a situation that you guys can be a blessing to Leonard, because I had literally forgot about that. And I need for those of you that supported the show earlier and you saw my earlier live, I told you guys we needed 3 people to support the show with $12 this afternoon, and then we needed 3 people tonight. We didn't get all 3 people for this afternoon show, so we need about 5 of you guys to send $12 to the Cash App to support the show tonight, and then I'll help Leonard. I'll send Leonard something too, so you guys make sure y'all support the show tonight. Moving right along. All right, Leonard, so take us back first of all, Leonard. How did you encounter this Duane Youngblood story in the beginning? How did you encounter that?
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I knew of Duane Youngblood, and I knew Duane Youngblood prior to all of this.
Okay.
He was a young and upcoming pastor around about the same time that I was in the ministry. Our churches at one time fellowshipped. Okay. So we were familiar with the Higher Call Ministries. All right. So we'll fast forward to about 2014. Okay. And I was talking with a friend who was a former member of the church, and we were just chit-chatting, just talking. And he said to me, did you know that that Youngblood is on the Megan's watch list? Because he knew at this time what I was doing, right, and being involved with the CFR, and he knew that I was, bashing the preachers and everything like that, right, and going through with all that. So he's like, but did you know about this? And I was like, no, I didn't. So what I did was I pulled him up on the registry. And now, then just so happens,
can I pause you for just a second? I'm unfamiliar with the Megan's registry. What is the Megan's registry?
It's the sex offenders, Megan's Law, the sex offenders website.
Oh, okay.
So, like if you're when you're a sex offender, they put you up on the website.
Okay.
And with being up on the website, that lets the public know, who and what, you know, where folk live, where they work, you know, all that pertinent information. So I found him on the website, and I just so happened to do a, you know, citywide site to see who else was on there that was like a pastor, and I found a couple others. All right, so I began to do to look in, to research, to find out what it was that they did, to find out the, you know, the reasons why. He was basically he was on probation for a while. I'm not sure how long that probation lasted, but it was for a lewd sex act.
Right.
That was
the first offense.
That was the first offense.
Right.
It was I pulled up the news story. He basically was caught up, involved in, you know, having sex with someone in a car. Basically, I'm not pertinent or sure that it was a minor at that time.
No, they
that
were.
I'm not sure.
I am. Hold on, because I don't want to get it confused.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah,
let me help you out.
Yeah, the reason why I'm saying is for me. I'm going off of memory right now.
Gotcha. And so okay, so let me help you out.
Go ahead.
Last time when he did the lewd act with the child and they were in the car, that's when he was out. He was out on parole. Okay, so that last instance of the lewd act with the child or whatever, that was when he got caught in the car with his pants down, but he was wearing an ankle monitor. Okay.
So
there was a prior offense to that based on my research.
Okay.
And then when they caught him the last time with the minor with his pants down with the ankle monitor on, that's what sent him to prison for that the longer length period of time. Now we're going to talk about the other victim that you wanted to share with me, because you told me there was a third victim, and we don't know the name of the young person, but we know that there was another one, and you told me they added that to that last case.
Well, wait a minute. This was prior to the person that we're talking about now. Okay.
So the last hold on, let me get clear. So the ankle monitor, that's the first, we had one time, then there was an ankle monitor time. So when did they add the other person onto the case? Because I remember you said they slipped one in to one of the final cases. So just help me understand.
Yeah, we'll get to that. All right.
Okay.
So that was when I found him on the sex offenders website. Was the lewd act part. Okay. Right. So what I did was, once I found out about him with that, I started going to his church every so often. Okay. I would pop in maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, and all I would do was go ahead and count how many kids, just head count, you know, and then I would leave. And I did that for several months, going into the winter of 2015. And in that January, I wrote an article for pimppreacher.com at the time, and the I believe that it had his picture, his mugshot, and definitely Lanier Fisher's mugshot. These were the men that were in my city.
Gotcha.
And I basically put up there, you know, pastoring from the Megan's, you know, pastoring from the sex offenders website or something, you know.
Right.
And basically talked about how these different pastors had, you know, were sex offenders, but were still pastoring.
Gotcha. Now, Leonard, let me pause you for just 1 second. I want to make sure your Cash App is spelled right. That's $LDROBINSON, the number 2.
There we go, Miss Moni. Yep, that should work.
Okay, so if you guys,
that'll work.
Please make sure that you guys support my friend Leonard tonight. Please make sure you do that. But keep talking, Leonard. I just want to make sure we're
all right. Yes, this is Pittsburgh, Mr. Moore. Thank you. So that was in January. The only thing that I didn't do that I should have done was, before I published, I should have reached out to both of them to get comments and statements. That I didn't do. I learned through the this discussion that Duane and I had after the article was published. Now, he didn't try to take the article down. He didn't try to fight with me about it. It was what it was. It is what it is. He was trying to actually get me to buy his book too. But that's another story. But anyways, so we'll fast forward again 6 months later. At this point, he was arrested on the charges now that got him sent to prison. Okay, so those were the charges that were set and that got him to prison. But as a result of the arrest, that happened on a Friday. Okay, that Sunday they were still having church.
Right.
So I went to the church along with another brother. We both went to the church, and we sat in the church and, went through the praise and worship. The people knew, the brothers did, they knew who I was. And they looked, so they had an eye on me.
Right.
So we were there for about 30 minutes, and then a guy comes up to the pulpit with a phone in his hand, and they were in the middle of like praise and worship, and he came up in a haste with the phone in his hand, and he took the mic from the person that was singing and said, our pastor is here on the line. He wants to give us a word.
All right, so let me say this. So what Leonard's actually saying, I want to put this into context so we understand. The man goes to jail, you said, on a Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, goes to jail on a Friday. On Sunday, the church has their pastor, Duane Youngblood, on the phone in the middle of the church service. And this is what Leonard's going to explain to us now what happened.
Okay, so now he gets on the phone and he does that typical, pastoring type, talking as, nothing really is going wrong. But during the course of his comments, he said something to the effect of, sometimes God will send you a test to test your integrity. At that point, I couldn't stand it. I just yelled out in the middle of the service, and I know he heard me, but I yelled out, Duane, stop lying.
Right.
And them boys, man, they gripped me up, picked me up, carried me right on out the church. And, so now we're outside the church, and, it's getting kind of, testy, and people are upset and everything like that. And there was this one young man there where he was, he's taking off his shirt and he's ready to go. And I just so happened to look at him, and I basically said this: if any of you brothers are in the same situation as the other man, you can speak up right now. We can, get you, and then he went off. So I'm not sure if he was like in that situation with him or something like that, but he was a younger dude.
Right.
So yeah, that was the time when I was about ready to fight, and then they held him back, and I'm sitting there ready. And by that time, that's when the cops come. Everything breaks up. Everything is settled. That was that Sunday. That Tuesday, we had just got off the air on the CFR, but before we were getting off the air, I called in and said, "Listen, I'm outside this courthouse, ready to go in for this arraignment." So I go ahead and go through the arraignment. They list all the charges and everything like that. Now, on my way out, I noticed that there was another lawyer and another group of people that were talking, because I think that they were this other set of charges, right? But I can't positively say that.
Right.
But it looked like they were, and it looked like they were trying to, like in a way that they were posturing towards Mr. Youngblood. So afterward, I'm standing in the media scrum with all the local media. This is the type of case in this city that would get, the different reporters, and and just so happens that all the black reporters that were on the TV scene was there.
Right.
So I got a chance to meet some of my folk. I was like, oh, okay, I remember him. I know him. Nice to meet him. Different reporters. So his lawyer begins to give a statement, and then he starts taking questions. As he's taking questions, I get a chance to ask a question, and my question was, from a church perspective, do you feel that your client is qualified to be a pastor with these allegations?
Right.
And then he goes off on me.
Correct.
And then now we start going back and forth,
right.
on this thing.
Video. Go ahead.
So we start going back and forth, but then afterward, that's when that part of it got on the news. And then, so now it's on the news. I get TJ to get a press release to send to the news, and then by the time it got to 5 o'clock, they took that out and basically stayed with the Youngblood portion of that story. All right, so then now, because there was another charge coming, that guy I don't, or person or whatever, I don't know their names, but there was another arraignment. They didn't give out the names during the arraignment of the accusers.
I want to pause. Go ahead. I want to pause right there, because that's key to our conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There was an additional arraignment, which means on top of the case that he was arrested for, and the case that he was going to, that he eventually went back to jail for, there was another arraignment or another case. There was an additional situation on top of that, which brings us to the total based on our research and the understanding of what we looked at. That means there's a total of at least 3. Now, we're going to say, for the sake of understanding, because we can't remember all of the details and names, we're just going to say there was an alleged third person.
Yes.
Even though we know there was a third person allegedly. But we're just gonna put it out there, because we don't want to say as a matter of fact. We're gonna just tell you that Leonard was there. That's all I'm gonna tell you. He was there. He knows. So I'm just gonna leave it there. But here's what I want you to understand. And Leonard, we talked about this, and this is where you and I are gonna have a great conversation tonight.
Okay.
When I did the research on Duane Youngblood when he was on his way to jail, you talked about the fact that when he called into the church, he did the typical pastor thing where he was just trying to let people know everything is fine, and sometimes God's just going to test your integrity. In one of the reports that I read from one of the reporters said as they were leading him off in handcuffs and in chains, he told the people, well, just pray. I just want the people of God to pray. And then he told the reporter, he said, well, I'm going to be back preaching. He says, I'm going to be back in the pulpit, because he had planned on not stopping his ministry. He was just going to keep right on going. And when we read that a couple of days ago, I was like, that thing struck me so, Leonard, as a huge problem in the institutional church, because as we see this and we talk about this, and we've talked about it for so many years, it struck me in a different way, because there is something in the mentality of church individuals, and especially preachers, that allow themselves mentally to excuse their behaviors and just continue to just roll on as if nothing has ever happened before. And that's the part that really kind of struck me. And I want you to pick back up on your story, but I just wanted to say that, because we had definitely talked about that, and you can speak about that if you want.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you one observation that I had on the first time at the arraignment. When I came into the courthouse, the court is a magistrate, and I'm not sure if people are familiar with Pennsylvania. You have district magistrates, okay? They're elected officials, but they're in these small little pockets. They got their own little district, and on their court days, they will allow a certain number of people into the gallery. I would believe that the vast majority of his church members were not only in the gallery,
Wow.
but they were also in the waiting area and lining up outside of the courthouse.
Wow.
Okay. So they were there. All right. When I came in, it was hard for me to find a seat, because
It was so many of
they
them.
were filled. Yeah.
Mhm.
But so I had to come in and say that I'm a part of the media, and I'm here covering the case for Youngblood, and they were like, okay, and then they let me in. But yeah, it was packed. It was packed. And also when they walked him up, he's in the foot shackles and the arm shackles, in the orange jumpsuit. When they walked him up, he was making eye contact with different parishioners, and they were saying, "We love you, Bishop. We love you, Bishop."
Wow.
And he's like, "I love you too. Love you too. Pray, pray,
Right.
and that sort of thing going on, while they were, going through his part of the arraignment
Right.
before they got started, as he was going up to the front. So yeah, it struck me as kind of like, wow, they really with this dude.
Right. Pretty much.
They was really with him. So let's get back to the point where the following week, it was the following, I think it was the Tuesday, still another Tuesday. The following Tuesday, there's the other arraignment is taking place.
Okay.
Now at this time, there wasn't as many people there this time. Okay. There wasn't as many people there this time.
So reality
yeah.
sunk in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got in, and go through the arraignment. It wasn't, real quick. They went through, gave the list of charges. He said not guilty, and then after that went back.
But wait a minute, let's pause right there. And I know, as a matter of legal maneuvers, they typically have their clients to, say I'm not guilty. But if you get caught in a car with your pants down, with an ankle monitor on, it's kind of hard for you to say that you're not guilty. So the mere fact that he did those formalities and went through the formalities, because he was caught red-handed. That's the thing.
Yeah. Basically.
So
yeah. So now we're outside, and his lawyer gives another press briefing, and before he gets started, he gives an open apology to me, and in front of the media.
The lawyer the lawyer does.
Yeah, the lawyer, because the week before, he thought I was one of the new accuser.
Gotcha.
That's what he told me afterwards.
Right.
He's like, I thought you were the next accuser to come forth. I was like, dude, I'm not his type. I'm his age. I ain't his type. But this is when I was, and now we can get to the point where when I was talking about believing.
Right. Now stop. Hold on. Pause for just a second.
Okay.
I want to keep the chat up to date. If you all remember the last video that I showed you on the last video regarding this, remember I showed you Leonard outside and the lawyer started attacking him. Well, that's what Leonard was just talking about in that particular instance. Remember I told y'all he thought Leonard was someone else. Well, as you just heard Leonard say, he thought Leonard was another accuser. Okay. And so that's what made the lawyer go off on him and tell him, oh, you need to get yourself an attorney. If y'all remember, and we played that video so you guys could see it. Now go ahead, as far as Leonard, the believing part. Go ahead.
So at that point, we were having a conversation that was off the record. Okay. And in some of those cases, he was confiding some of the things about what was going on. So from what I understood, okay, this is something that he told his lawyer. Okay. So when I said believing, know this, number one, I was totally outside the loop when all this stuff with Larry Reid started going down.
Right.
Okay. I am slowly catching up. Okay. You called me out of the blue. I didn't know I really was on the air at the time. But when you called me, I was like, okay, if he's saying what he's saying, I would just say believe what he's saying as this is what I heard back then.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I heard this back then. It's not much different from what I heard from the lawyer.
Right.
If he's making these allegations,
right.
These are the allegations that were said to me.
Right.
Similarly to me
now,
back
I want to be clear about the allegations that we're speaking of, because we're not talking about the allegations against TD Jakes. We're talking about the allegations that was going on in regards to Duane Youngblood, as well as what I like to call the Hugga Church, higher ground assemblies, right? So when you're talking about believe him, you're talking about that part of it. You're not talking about the allegations as it relates to TD Jakes, because you're totally don't know that part.
Yeah. Well, actually, but here's the thing. I'm actually talking about the Jakes part.
Oh, okay.
Because during the thing, during the conversation, that's what I meant, where we weren't really I'm not going to give, I can't remember the specifics. Plus, it was at the time off the record.
Gotcha.
And I was looking, and basically he gave me enough information for me to start to look into it. Okay. Because I think what the play was, because I'm in these circles,
right?
Now that he knows who I am,
right,
that I will begin to investigate to get like a higher up thing, so that if I were to get, say, Jakes
right
on something, very similar, that he can then test, he can then use that in the case.
Okay, correct.
Down the line.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's where I thought that the play was going.
Gotcha.
As I was looking into it, I really began to see how Jakes operates. And I was like, I really do not want every lawyer from Dallas to Pittsburgh at my door.
Right.
It's not worth it. It really isn't worth that aggravation. So I let that go.
Right.
I was, so I let that go. I didn't say anything to anybody.
Right.
I didn't say anything to anybody in the CFR about it.
Right.
I didn't say anything to nobody. I kept that.
Right.
I didn't start talking about this part until he came out with the Larry Reid part.
Okay.
On the Larry Reid thing, whatever that was. Right. Because people were talking about it, like, going through, and I was like, oh, I already knew that.
Right.
Right. That's nothing, it's nothing shocking to me, So
well, Leonard, with that in mind, let's talk for a second. Stick a pin there. Because you and I and the Church Folk Revolution, Marjorie, Duane, Marla, all of us, we've been dealing with this. We had talked about it for so long, and we have been dealing with this kind of stuff for so long. But we used to tell these people years and years ago about these pastoral sex rings and these preachers sleeping with one another and doing all of their stuff. And we used to get so much flack for this, and they used to give us so much of a hard time. But this just reminds me, Leonard, of way back then when we had discovered and talked about these things on a different kind of perspective than the rest of the Christian community that got us in so much trouble. Now, for those of you that are asking what it was CFR, that stands for Church Folk Revolution. That's what it stands for. Okay. So, but we had talked about these. Absolutely. Revolution. now, let me tell you something, Leonard. Real talk. Everything that we talked about 14 years ago has slowly been rolling itself out, even in a greater dimension now. Leonard, I kid you not. Now, there's a document, there's a sworn affidavit, and we're going to go over it in a minute. And if you remember way back in the day when I told you guys I went to that first Manpower conference that TD Jakes had, and I know it's been a long time before I talked about this with you. When I saw TD Jakes and those men come out in those silk shirts and the way they were dressing, I was like, something ain't right with these dudes. and then and then to hear this stuff and to hear some of this stuff, because as I have said to a million people a million times, I don't think TD Jakes is innocent of everything. That's the and now, but when it comes to Duane Youngblood, I'm at a great pause, Leonard, but I do not think that TD Jakes is completely, innocent of that kind of stuff. So I wanted to just get that out there, because people just don't understand that there is, I call it abuse rings. They are abusing young people, young children, young men and women in these types of things, and they're passing these people around to each other. That's what people, that's what people don't think to understand. And it is a real thing, people. That's one of the reasons why I tell you have to watch your children. You have to, pray for watch your husband, watch your wife. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean they have to be a child. They can literally be an impressionable young adult or young person that you have to be watching over to make sure that you're watching your family members, etc. And so I just wanted to make that statement. You can pick it back up, Leonard, with what you were saying, because I know I cut you off.
No. What you're saying was, that's one of the things that we were talking about back in the day, a lot within, because we were coming across a lot of different preacher situations, and then we were also understanding like what was going on at some of these conferences.
Right.
We would talk about, the different conferences that were going on. One of the things that I learned about and was able to, verify in my own way, even though I never reported on it, was the Gospel Music Workshop of America stuff.
Correct.
That stuff was crazy. And you also get into all these different other conferences that were going on. It was basically, how people would meet up and do their things, how at the Kojic converse, convocations,
right,
there be these big meetups, people go and do whatever it is that they're going to do, however they want to do, and be all right. It is what it is.
right.
So when I was saying to you guys about believe him, what I was saying was, these are the allegations that I was told. Okay.
Right.
With those allegations being told, I'm not saying that these allegations are true.
Right.
I'm just saying this is consistent with what he was saying back then, at least through his lawyer.
Gotcha.
Very similar. There may be details that I don't necessarily remember. And plus, I didn't, and I still haven't, because I just don't really want to. Listen, I didn't really get into what he was actually saying on the podcast yet. On that thing.
Save yourself.
Because it seemed like it's a bunch. It seemed like it's a bunch of mess.
Yeah, just read the documents. Just read the documents.
Yeah, I will. But yeah, so you have a. But here's the thing: you have the situation now. Okay. I did watch one of your videos when you were talking about the lawsuit, okay, and about the countersuit. See, this is what the thing about this Youngblood thing that kind of bothers me, because we were also talking about this too. With this information in hand, had I done the interview, it would have been a much different situation.
Correct.
Because I would have kept out in the forefront about him being a convicted sex offender
twice,
somehow or some way. And I would have kept it at, as a convicted sex offender.
Well, now
how are you doing?
Now let me tell you this, Leonard. We have to use essay on YouTube. We can't say.
Oh, my bad.
We gotta say essay. They got us on lock.
Oh, okay. So I can't use that. I'm sorry. I forgot.
No, it's okay. Just say essay.
I forgot. I forgot. But as a convicted felon, I can say convicted felon.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, you can.
So as a convicted felon, blase blah, blase blah. Right. All right. That's one thing. The other thing was, I would have got his story beforehand, and I would have summarized it and basically sent it to somebody down in down in Dallas, and asked for a comment about what these what the
Right.
summary of this
Right.
allegations are, with the intent of having an interview and going, and publishing this on, my YouTube page or whatever.
Right.
I would have done that.
Right.
Now, with what they were doing, from what I understand, is they're kind of mad about him for some reason, and I don't understand the reasoning behind it. But from what I'm gathering from other individuals, that there's something that he crossed Bernard somehow.
Well, but it's a let me give you the breakdown. Let me give you the breakdown real quick. They apparently Duane Youngblood's attorney sent a $6 million request to TD Jakes for $6 million.
Yeah.
They demanded $6 million, or they were going to continue to make videos. They were going to continue to tell this account of Duane Youngblood's, and the account, of course, kept changing, so forth and so forth. Now Larry has been talking about Duane Youngblood for TD Jakes for over a year. Now I'm going to be dealing with some of Larry's comments, but just for the sake of putting this into context tonight, and for those of you that support the Mad Church Disease channel, I just want you guys to know this is one of the reasons why I asked you guys to support the broadcast, and the links are in the description, because this week I plan on going over hours and hours of Larry's videos, and I'm going to extrapolate from those videos the comments that he has made regarding TD Jakes, and I'm going to put this into context for you so you can get a better understanding. It just takes time. It just takes time. Now I want you to listen to this, Leonard. This is some of the stuff, the salacious stuff that Larry has been saying.
Manasseh is right now going through we're in the beginning of litigations with his lawyer, because he is going to be confronting Bishop T.D. Jakes legally, and that's a process. I did call Manasseh and ask him, I said, look, it's February, what the hell y'all doing? And he was letting me know that there were some things that the lawyers are doing that's like preliminary to the actual filing, like a letter, a demand letter, and all of that, which I don't know which lawyer coming up with all that, because you ask me, that's stupid. Just go ahead and do the complaint like that girl did. What's her name? That with P. Diddy. Cassie did, and then she got whatever it is she wanted. And we already know what Manasseh has everything to do with him repenting, getting therapy, and things of that nature. I'm pretty sure the lawyer's got to put some kind of monetary price to it. He's already went through all the counseling. He still is in the counseling. I don't know if they're going to try to get that back or not, which probably makes sense if they would.
Now, I want y'all to hear what he just said, because I'm going to give you some commentary on that. What did you say, Leonard? What did you say? Leonard, can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you anymore.
I can hear you. I don't know what happened. I can hear you.
Yeah.
But you can't hear me. Okay. Hold on. You might want to go out and come back in. So, hold on. Can you hear me now? Oh, you can still hear me. Can you say? Well, I'm fine with you. Can you? Oh, well, if you can hear me, Leonard, go out and come back in, and that should solve the problem. Go out and come back. If you can do that. And I'll put the link for you to come back in the chat. So it'll be easier for you.
No, I'm back now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Okay.
What happened, like, once you played the video, I couldn't hear the video. And it's probably because of my Bluetooth being on. So
you couldn't hear what oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Don't worry about it.
All right. But
give me a quick summary.
But let me do the this is the Bernard Jordan piece of this, because I need to tie it all together. Larry went around for a whole year with Manasseh Jordan, which happens to be Bernard Jordan's son, right?
Okay.
Larry had this whole thing that Manasseh had been groomed by Larry, and he was going to be filing some paperwork with his lawyers, and he was going through counseling, and he was supposed to be trying to come up with a monetary figure in order to submit to TD Jakes' attorney. Now, somebody said it's echoing. You might want to turn it down, Leonard, because it wasn't doing that before. Because we got an echo now. I can hear it.
Is that better?
Is that better, guys? Yes. It's lower. I can't hear it as much. All right. So here's the thing with that. If Larry's whole modus operandi has been, if you heard him first when he spoke about Manasseh Jordan, he said grooming and all of this other stuff. And then he said he was going to be filing with the attorneys, and they were going to be trying to reap the monetary counseling fees. Now, if you fast forward to Duane Youngblood's last filing shows that he's been going to this counseling. He's supposed to have all of this PTSD due to the stuff that happened to him from TD Jakes. And the case that Duane Youngblood submitted to the court, Leonard, he said over 40 years ago, TD Jakes hugged him and tried to kiss him. He then left the house. The kiss never transpired. He left the house the next day. TD Jakes called his home. Now, his original statement was he called him from the bathtub because he could hear water running, right? And he said TD Jakes, told him that, he wanted him. He gave this list of a couple of things. TD Jakes wanted him to sleep with him and be the only person he slept with when he came to Pittsburgh. And he promised that he would take care of Duane Youngblood for the rest of his life. Now, keep in mind, this was after their first encounter and meeting with one another. And so he told this story. And then he said TD Jakes called the house and told him, well, he went to church the next night, and TD Jakes made him read from the Bible. He gave him the opportunity to read the scriptures out loud. And so that was the story. And so they went after TD Jakes for this hug, potential kiss, and TD Jakes saying, I want you to be my lover, my boy toy. That's what they're saying. And he's saying that is supposed to, be what is worth $6 million. Now, Leonard, that is the situation. Now, I don't know if you have something you want to say to that, but I can show you, because what I wanted to do was bring up some of these documents, because I don't know if any of these names might sound familiar to you, but that is the case essentially, Leonard. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's oh boy. Now, before, did mention the name, did the details of what happened I did not have. However, you are saying that he was on the potential of being groomed, but he was never touched or molested or.
Well, that's the Duane Youngblood part.
Yeah, that's right. That's the interesting part, because that would be very, very difficult to prove anyways.
Right.
Okay. The only thing about it though is this, and I began to think about it a little bit, and I know that you're going to continue on with what's going on. And
Leonard, can you move? Leonard, can you move up a little closer? They say they're having trouble hearing you.
Okay. Yeah. Because I had to turn stuff down. Before I do get, is that better?
Yeah, just turn it back up, and then I'll hush while you talk.
All right. Now, truthfully, I actually hope that it does go to trial, and it does, and Youngblood wins. Okay. I actually do. I mean, if you put it, if I think about it like this, I hope he wins, and I hope he gets every last dime that is owed to him.
Now, you think Youngblood deserves $6 million, Leonard?
Wait a minute. Yes, whether it's 6 or 12 or 2, it doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what it is.
That's why I love Leonard. Go ahead, Leonard.
I hope, because I'm all about justice.
Okay.
If this stuff is true, if he's able to prove it in court, get all of it. However, with that same energy, I hope his Duane Youngblood's victims will come forth with a lawsuit, because he already went through the criminal stuff, but with a lawsuit suing him for the amount that he got from Bishop Jakes plus. Because this guy is actually a convicted felon.
Okay.
And where is the justice for his victims?
Right.
So that's why I'm like, okay, Jakes, all right, whatever this is, I hope you win, but at the end of the day, I want those brothers to sue the living out of you.
Correct.
I want them to sue you right back.
No, but here's
get every last dime that they deserve. Because I believe in justice.
Right. And that's like the T.D. Jakes payment plan, no, Leonard. Because that's like a roundabout way in order to get T.D. Jakes to end up paying Duane Youngblood's victims.
Yes. So if that ends up being, if that happens, cool. But let's let the victims let his victims, the Youngblood's victims, and I hope that you're listening, be ready to sue him.
Okay.
Because that's where I'm like, good. If this is what it's going to be, then fine. Because ultimately we get the fact that Jakes is exposed for who he is. Okay. Then we also, we already know who Youngblood is,
right.
But also his victims can get their opportunity.
Right. Now let me give you a pushback.
Some justice as well.
Okay, now let me give you some pushback. Because Leonard, this is what they're gonna say. You can't. Jake shouldn't pay if he's not guilty of what Youngblood is saying, because you have to prove in court that the person is guilty of what you're saying. And when I sent you the documents for you to read, you tell me when you read them documents whether or not you believe that T.D. Jakes is guilty. And I'm not gonna pressure you too much tonight, because I know you haven't read the paperwork.
Yeah.
So you got the paperwork. So I'm gonna give you some room. I'm gonna give you some room today.
Yeah.
Because I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Here's the thing. I already know it's bullshit. I already know it. I got it. However,
okay,
if there is the slim chance,
right,
that there's something that could persuade a jury for Youngblood to win, a slim chance, and I know it's a slim chance.
Right.
If there's a slim chance, I really want him to win.
I really you. Do. Well, let me clear something up in the chat. Let me clear somebody up in the chat. Of course, she did 1406. Leonard is not an LRLer. Let's be clear about that. That's what they refer to Larry Reid's followers as. Leonard is not a Larry Reid supporter nor follower.
No.
So let's be clear about that. So let's not start that. Okay. If you weren't here from the beginning, let me go ahead and reiterate for you. Leonard is a colleague of mine, someone that I highly respect, and so we're gonna treat Leonard with a different type of hand over here on this here channel. And we're not gonna insinuate things about Leonard that are not true. Let's be clear about that. Now go ahead, Leonard.
Now the whole thing about the Larry Reid stuff, to be honest with you, I don't follow him at all. So don't if you're thinking that, my whole perspective is all about justice. Right. Because if he did actually do the crime, then then fine, pay for it. Let him pay for it. That's where I'm at with it.
Can I ask you a question? Because now they're asking you questions in the chat now. So let me ask you a question. Pamela says, "Why do you not like Jakes?"
Okay. I don't necessarily have a feeling either way anymore about most of these preachers anyways.
Right.
Okay. But at the same time, I would say that just like, most preachers, he basically moves and operates in the way that he does. I don't have an emotional, it's not that I don't like him or hate him or anything like that. I'm about the exposing of the wrongdoing, if there's any wrongdoing.
Gotcha.
If he's above board and innocent, by all means, he's innocent.
Gotcha.
Okay? I don't have a dog in the fight either way. I don't have a dog in the fight. However, if he did what Youngblood is accusing him of, by all means, I'm here for justice.
Gotcha.
Okay? So that's where I'm at. But the main point is that gives his victims the means to actually go after Youngblood, because right now he ain't worth nothing right now.
Right. Exactly.
Right? He went through through the jail stuff, but he really isn't worth something that can be for the victims.
Right.
Because they're the ones that actually are going through the trauma.
Right. So let me
ones that are actually going through and having to deal with seeing him,
right,
in their dreams, seeing visions of him, reliving those horrible acts. Okay?
Absolutely.
That was proven.
Okay.
So if he goes out and tries to get the lick, go ahead, get the lick.
Listen, I want you,
but just let it be known, and I'm trying to put this out here so that if any of his victims are listening, that maybe I need to file a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit.
Let me hit
so
this.
That's where I'm at with it.
I get you.
If you're looking at it as I'm trying to say that I believe Youngblood as being, as these allegations are true. No.
I'm a bottom line it for you in a minute. Leonard is old school. We grown men. This is some street vigilante stuff he talking about, just so y'all understand. Leonard said, if you can get the lick, get the lick. That's what he's trying to tell you. If you can get the cash and turn it over to Youngblood's victims, then that's how Leonard is seeing it. Because here's the thing. And ultimately, we don't believe T.D. Jakes is innocent of other stuff anyway. If we're going to be honest, that's what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So, but I know in the context of the case, some of us are feeling a little bit different, but Leonard's straight trying to tell you, if he can get the lick, get the lick.
I'm just saying, there's, if you're going to go ahead and do it, by all means. Now, the thing that bothers me about this whole thing was, why would you sit up there and make a situation where it looks like it's extortion, instead of, trying to just get your story out?
Right. Now, I need to read,
because if it was,
go ahead.
If it was really something true about it, you wouldn't really try to get your lick.
Right.
You would really try to get your story out and basically, say, this is what happened. This is what I believe happened to me, or whatever, however he wants to put it. But it seems like here's the thing about it right now for me. We know, and this is where I'm at with it. We know that Jakes ain't shit. Youngblood ain't shit.
Right.
And Larry Reid ain't shit. Jordan, Manasseh, whatever, he ain't shit. What is his name? Bernard.
Right.
Bernard. Yeah,
you're right.
They all ain't shit. Okay. So we understand that going into it. Okay. So since all that is true, that we all know this, all this stuff is a bunch of bullshit.
Right,
Anyways,
right.
it is. But I'm looking at the slim chance of a golden, slim chance of a silver lining in this thing,
Right,
that the victims, the real victims,
right.
Duane Youngblood's victims,
Gotcha.
can receive better justice.
Okay, but here's the problem with that.
That for me, that's where I'm at with this
I no,
whole thing.
Leonard, I appreciate what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, brother. But my only pushback would be if Dwayne wins, his crummy lawyer wins, Larry Reid wins, because don't get it twisted. I do not believe, and this is my opinion, that this case was filed so that Duane Youngblood could be the only person to walk away with the cash. The lawyers claiming he's working pro bono, which is bull. And I do believe at some point that they was planning on splitting this here money. And I do believe that there was a conspiracy on these folks working together. That's my opinion on getting this $6 million. Now, I know ultimately in a great world, he would get the money, and then some kind of way his accusers would come and sue him and then be able to take the $6 million and he don't get a dime of the money. That would be great in a perfect world. But basically what we're dealing with right now means we would have to skip over the crummy lawyer, the crummy podcaster, and we'd have to skip over those folks, and those folks would be able to ride off into the sunset with whatever portion they might have received, or looking as if they were legitimate and right from the beginning. And from us on the outside looking in, we're not liking that scenario, because if that scenario, you understand what I'm saying? If that scenario comes into play, we just in trouble.
No, I get it. No, I'm just saying that's where I see justice being ultimately the victims getting that $6 million.
I got you.
I'm just saying that.
All right.
Now, I've also said, and I know I'm looking at the comments where people are saying like I'm, like it's
yeah. Don't even read the comments. Don't read the comments.
But at the same time, I'm just like this. Just know, if there was the slim chance,
right?
I already know that this stuff isn't going through, because the last thing that Youngblood actually really wants is discovery. Okay, especially if he's coming out with allegations this flimsy,
right?
And if he has, if he wants to try to actually pursue, with these allegations without real proof,
right?
who are the witnesses?
Right.
Is he going to get his his dad answered the phone for Jake's at the time?
No, he said no. He said his mama answered the phone.
Oh, okay.
His mama's mama's probably dead. The old lady that the house where he was supposed to be having this conversation and potential hug and kiss at TD Jake, she gone to be with the Lord. So there ain't no evidence, Leonard. Period. This is just a he say. This is a he. Right. This is a he say she say situation. And based on these documents, and I want to go here really quick. So since I have you now, if you have to go, don't worry, you can always log off. But I want to read a couple of things to you and put a couple of things in your hearing here. And I just want to remind some of you that have been following us, because I've been kind of taking a look at a couple of things a little bit different, because y'all know I'm a thinker, and so I started using my little brain here, and I started taking a look at this. So let's look at this, Leonard. Let me see. I want to get that to be a little bit bigger there. Let's draw this up here. I want to show y'all something. This is this supposedly Jeffrey S. Gray person. And this is his sworn affidavit in regards to this case, okay? He says that he's a 58-year-old male and he resides in Pennsylvania as well, right? And so he starts giving this account. He says on or about 1992, while he was employed with Merrill Lynch Company, he visited one of TD Jakes' colleagues for business, right? The situation turned questionable as gay advances were made towards me during the meeting by a male bishop. He declined the advances and quickly left the premises because I knew Duane Youngblood was familiar with this clergyman. I shared my experience with Duane, and that's when Duane shared his experience concerning TD Jakes. Now, I want y'all to stop right here. Now, Leonard, this was submitted to the court. This first paragraph tells you everything you need to know about the rest of this. This sworn affidavit don't have shit to do with TD Jakes. You understand what I'm saying? This sworn affidavit has to deal with an account that this man had with another bishop who was supposed to be one of TD Jakes' friends or acquaintances. So when I reread this today, I was like, this don't have nothing to do with TD Jakes. So what in the world are you even submitting this for? All of the affidavits, Leonard, in this case, just reiterate Duane Youngblood's story of what he says happened to him at the old lady house with the potential hug and kiss. But I had to read the first top of this paragraph because I wanted you all to understand something. This has nothing to do with TD Jakes at all. This has nothing to do with him. So if you're putting this in the case, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to go nowhere. Point blank and period there. Let me bring up another affidavit here, Leonard, because I had to go through these affidavits again, and I was like, okay, well, maybe Marcellus, you're just missing something. And you need to read, because I'm trying to give this man the benefit of the doubt, right? So I said, okay, well, let me read some more of this stuff, because that first paragraph tells you everything you need to know. Here we go with another one. He's 62-year-old male. He lives in Georgia, Gwinnett, Georgia, right? And so he starts going into this long story. And this is Richard Edwin Youngblood. Now, I believe this is his brother, Leonard. So his brother submits submits an affidavit. So he goes into story time as well. This is all story time to me, Leonard. In the fall of 1990, he spoke with Duane Youngblood on the phone about a personal matter between Elder T.D. Jakes and himself. So Elder T.D. Jakes and Youngblood's brother had some sort of running in with one another. Okay, from what I understand, they were supposed to be in ministry or something together. Blah 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 blah. Right now, after sharing with him what had happened to him, he began to tell me of an interaction he'd had with Jakes. Now, he's talking about the 40-year-old situation ago. He told me that he had gone over to the home of Sister Giles to visit Elder Jakes. After speaking with him about his life and some other things that had gone on in it, Duane said that he noticed that it was getting late and he had to leave. As he got up from the table and the chair to leave, Jakes met him and tried to kiss him. He expressed how awkward and stunned and uncomfortable it made him feel. He then shared that he had received a call from Elder Jakes the following day. This call sounded as though Jakes was taking a bath. When he proposed to take care of Duane financially if he had sex with him when he was in Pittsburgh for preaching engagements. We both expressed how absolutely astonished we were concerning our experiences with Elder Jakes. Over the years since, we have discussed this matter several other times as we've reflected on our past. That is the first paragraph. Guess what? That still has nothing to do with whether or not this is true or not. Okay, the first paragraph within itself has told us clearly has nothing to do. They're just going to recount, Leonard, the rest of this story. They're going to rehash this story. Now, they have not submitted one shred of evidence in this case, Leonard, or presented anything to the court that would make the court believe this is true. Now, just basically on the stories, does it give the court the room to say, I want to hear more? It could. If the judge is inquisitive and wants to go down storybook road, he can definitely cause the case to go forward, but based on what we are seeing in these documents tell us something totally different. All right, so let me stop sharing this. Your thoughts so far on what I said so far?
I'll just say this: I am somewhat familiar with. I was waiting for Richard to come forward.
Okay.
Because I was familiar with a little bit of that situation as well. But what we heard so far is all circumstantial,
right?
And there's nothing really concrete of something that the only thing that you can probably say, if you're able to actually prove, which makes this very difficult, is you can only prove you can't really prove a grooming situation,
right?
But you can probably say that there's harassment here. You can probably say that there's a little harassment.
You could say it, but you got to prove it, Leonard.
Yeah, you still got to prove it. That's exactly it. But even with the harassment, you can only go but so far as to, okay, so you confided in Richard,
your brother,
who's your brother, this story, okay? Now, you confided in him this story. Then there's also the Merrill Lynch dude that he said that there was advances made on him. But you confided into him this story.
Correct.
This bathtub story. But it still doesn't make it so that, oh, did Jakes actually, do
right?
What,
it wasn't an eyewitness account.
There's not an eyewitness account that's outside of you telling people
Correct.
the story.
Correct.
So that's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna show you one more of these, Leonard. Got to show you this because I'm thorough. You know how we are.
Yeah.
So let me show you this. This is this the 12.5 one? I believe so. Now, when I looked at this again today, this one caused me a little pause. And even though I know how lawyers can do this at times, this is from a guy named Daniel B. Spalding, right? This fella submitted this stuff, and it was typed up for him, and he just simply signed. If you look how they sent him a document, had him to fill in this information, but the rest of this information, in my opinion, was probably cut and paste and just added to this document. So he probably was speaking to a paralegal or someone. Leonard, this is literally one paragraph. And here it is. Back in the spring of 2006, he lived with Duane Youngblood at this particular address. So one evening, Duane told me that when he was a young man, he took T.D. Jakes out to eat, and at some point that evening, T.D. Jakes had made sexual inappropriate pass at him. Duane also said that Jakes had later called him and said that he would like for the two of them to have an exclusive sexual relationship. These experiences have shaped my understanding and perspective of the claims raised by Duane Youngblood. End of story. That's what the man said on his sworn affidavit. Now, first of all, you live with Duane Youngblood. That raises my eyebrows right there.
Yes, it does.
Knowing who Duane Youngblood is and what he has been accused of in the past and so forth, and you lived with Duane Youngblood.
And at that time, he had already been on probation for the lewd sexual act in the car. He had already been. That's because that happened around 2001, 2002. So yeah. And then it doesn't. The thing the thing that's funny about that is, see, I think that we if you're when you're looking into this, there's also the whole thing of understanding that within the relationship that the so-called relationship that Jakes has with Youngblood, you also have to remember that Jakes is from Charleston. Okay, and Youngblood from Pittsburgh. Okay, the church that Bishop Jakes is affiliated with, or was at the time, it was headquartered in Columbus. So a lot of this stuff, there would be a lot of interaction, especially in the 90s, early 90s, before he got on. See, in Pittsburgh, Jakes was like the one guy that people came, late 80s. I'm talking about like from like 87 to like 92.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pastor here. He died a long time ago. Archie Dennis. He used to bring him up all the time. And it got to the point where they couldn't have him in his church, that they started having revivals at hotels and other venues. Because Jakes was starting to, at least here he was getting big.
Getting popular. Gotcha.
He was getting popular. But so that's where there's that connection of when he comes to Pittsburgh. All right, that's why I wanted to give that context, because he was coming to Pittsburgh quite often during the late 80s, early 90s time. This is before Woman Thou Art Loose. This is before Azusa Street. This is right before all that stuff started to happen.
Correct.
So there would be some sort of connection. I'm just putting that out there as some background information. What makes this even better is that, yes, Youngblood at the time, he would be a young man at this time, and I believe his father was pastoring the church that he was talking about.
Right.
But they were all in the same fellowship at the same time. Now, don't quote me wrong on that on the father thing, because I think that's he was pastoring. The father was the pastor, and then I think Duane took over after his father got retired.
Right.
And whatnot.
Gotcha.
So there is those connections here, people. There would be that sort of thing. And if you looked at I keep forgetting who the guy was. That was the older bishop that's in Columbus. But if you think Jake's had a sense of fashion, he ain't got nothing on that dude.
I forget the guy. He's 91 now, and I forget his name. Somebody put his name in the chat. The guy over the Higher Ground Assemblies fella. What's his name?
He was one of those cats that he looked like like he was straight out the 70s, pimp movies.
Yeah, but he was wearing them.
Watson.
Yeah, Watson. He was wearing them. I call them the Donald Lawrence and the Ricky Dillard kind of suits. Them real bright suits and all that crazy stuff. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. He was one of them. So I'm not saying that just because you dress a certain way don't mean that you are a certain way. Not saying that at all.
I haven't seen too many straight men who dress like that up in the church, Leonard. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that. I'm just.
Well, I did. I just said
it. I'm just saying so. I'm just giving context of how people, are interacting with this whole sort of thing.
Right, I got you.
There is there would be some sort of relationship here. That's all I'm saying.
But Leonard, let me cut you off. In his first paperwork that he submitted to the lawyer, he sent them a picture of himself singing in the choir. He sent him a picture of T.D. Jakes and all of his vestments. And he said some other stuff, but none of it had anything to do with the case, and that's the problem. He's trying to place him and T.D. Jakes together in those early days, which is okay. I understand that, but when it comes to actually having that documented and having your facts in line in order to prove your case, those things to me are irrelevant unless they are tied to the incident at hand. The rest of this, like I said, is just story time. Now, I got one more thing I want to share with you guys, Leonard, and then I'm going to talk one more time about the third accuser because somebody had asked a question, and then we're going to come back to this. All right. So let me show you this last one. This is the last one I'm going to show tonight. And Leonard, I think this is his wife. Her name is LaShawn. Because LaShawn Youngblood. Is this her? Yeah. This is the wife, right? All right.
Lovely lady.
Okay, now here's the thing. This is what they put in this. She goes into the same story, but her story, Leonard, is super duper long. And I'm not going to read all of this. I just want to go. Uh, this is just a recount of all of that stuff all over again. But the one little paragraph says Duane said that he needed to get his mother's car from home and needed to leave. As I listened, Duane proceeded to tell me that when he went to leave, Bishop Jake stood up and walked over to his side of the table. Duane and Bishop Jake then proceeded to try and kiss him. He said that he was shocked and could not believe what was happening. Duane told me that he didn't know how he got out of there, but he did and cried on his way home. He said he felt violated and could not believe that he would approach him the way after hearing his story. I asked Duane if he had told anyone. He said no. He did tell me the next day that Bishop Jakes called his house and his mother answered the telephone, told Duane Bishop was on the telephone for him. Duane said he picked up the telephone in the kitchen and Bishop Jakes proceeded to talk to him. I was told that during that conversation that Bishop Jakes told Duane that he wanted him to be his Pittsburgh man. He said that Duane could not be with anyone else because he did not want to give his wife anything, talking about Sarita. But if Duane would agree that he would take care of him, Duane said what made things worse was that his mom made him go back to the revival at Greater Emmanuel that evening after the phone call. Duane said his emotions were all over the place because of what took place, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to stop there. But just to give you a little piece, she's recounting, Leonard, the exact same story. So we've got about 3 or 4 affidavits.
A story that he told her.
And that he's claiming that he's told several people for all of this time. And Leonard, that is the problem. And I'm trying to give this man something, but none of that is working for me. And those of us who've been following this channel, y'all know what I've told y'all from get-go. Leonard, if this did happen, he still can't prove it. This is a he say, she say situation.
Yeah, it is.
You know, dragging and giving and then requesting $6 million from a man from a he say, she say is never going to work. And so we're now limited in our understanding of all of these things, and we most certainly need to take a step back. And he is supposed to respond. T.D. Jakes' attorneys, Leonard, are going to respond by February 14th. And then Duane Youngblood's team has, I believe, until like the 20-something of the month to respond. And the judge has limited their amount of pages because when they submitted this to the judge, Leonard, it was a 167 pages. Of the same stuff over and over. And then they took some P. Diddy articles and tied that into it. Yes, they did. So it was so it was a whole mess. So just so you know, Leonard, I wanted to just bring you up to date, but I gave you all of that in that zip file that I emailed you.
No Diddy.
Yes, they did.
No Diddy. No Diddy.
Yes, they did.
This is why, everyone, this is why this is all full of shit. See, you try to bring up something that has absolutely nothing to do with your case. And you're trying to tie on to the Diddy situation and trying to catch on with that. See,
Now, I want to end the show.
I'm kind of, now, with all this, I'm actually glad that I didn't get involved any further, because this is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. You
Right.
know, now even though it's crazy, I still stand by my point. If there's a slim chance that he can get the money so that the victims can sue him, and here's the thing, they would sue him and probably and he would probably be awarded, they would probably be awarded more than the $6 million. By the way, they in this situation, they'd probably be awarded more. So, but anyways, I know it's a very slim,
very slim
chance of. So all that I'm saying is bullshit. So it's a slim none the chance that that's going to happen, because this seems like this is going to be dismissed by the 28th or whatever. After the lawyer's response, then the judge is going to come back and you don't have any proof. Case dismissed. So that's basically the next. That's
Now,
basically
but TD
what's gonna
Jakes
happen.
actually sued him for libel, I believe, libel,
Yeah,
defamation, and conspiracy. So I don't know.
and
I
that's
don't.
another case.
Right. I don't think the judge is going to dismiss it. What I think is going to end up happening, Leonard, is the judge is going to probably either bring Duane and them into court or make them have to settle on a dollar number that they have to give TD Jakes. That, of course, is not going to be that high because Duane ain't got no money.
Yeah.
According to him, he was working part-time. In the beginning, he said he had no lawyer. Then he came up with the same lawyer that submitted the $6 million request. So, Leonard, all of this is, I'll take your word tonight, bullshit. And they've heard that word on this channel a few times. So in this particular case, I quite know that this is what we're dealing with. But I want to make sure before we get off, because there was a couple of people that came in here late. The third accuser that we talked about was somebody who came forward when Youngblood was actually going through his last trial. When he was going through his last trial, someone actually came and submitted, I guess, additional charges or something in there. Correct. And so there was another young man. Now, of course, that young man's information has been sealed, but I found out that there was a third person by speaking with Leonard. And so, but Leonard doesn't have, it's been a couple of years since Leonard had to deal with it, but I just wanted you all to know that that was the case and that was the situation. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through the chat. If you guys have any questions, or I'll drop the link and you guys can ask Leonard any question that you want. I'll give you guys a couple of chances to ask whatever you want to ask, because some of you may have some questions. I don't know. But I'm just going through the situation.
Well, before that,
okay, go ahead.
Before we get to the questions, let me do some promo stuff. All right. First of all, Marcellus, thank you for bringing me on. I do appreciate it.
Every day, all day, you know I would bring you on, brother.
I do appreciate it. I've been, as some of you may be aware of some of the things that I used to do. As Brother Leonard the Truthseeker, after the CFR, kind of faded, I kept my own channel alive for a little while. You can go to Brother Leonard the Truthseeker on YouTube, and you can subscribe there, because actually, as of yesterday, I decided to come back. Okay. Within this week, I will be putting up my first video, basically explaining what happened and why I left, and then what to look forward to going forward. Okay, it's not going to be a whole bunch of the blotter stuff that I was dealing with before. It's not going to be a whole bunch of blasting on preachers as I used to do.
Did you change the name of the channel?
Brother Leonard the Truthseeker.
Cause I got YouTube at Mr. DJ Dude.
Yeah, Mr. DJ Doodlebug. That's the slash thing. But if you you could type up Brother Leonard the Truthseeker in your search bar, in the search bar.
Well, don't worry. I just put a link in the chat. So that's Leonard's channel.
Yeah, that's the link. But with that, there will be some different things that I'll be looking to do. That I think that the first time I was dealing with a lot of issues within the church.
Right.
I'm going to deal with those same issues, but in a different way. And I'm actually going to be looking to build community instead of just going after, the preachers. I'll be looking at trying to go and deal with the people, because even from what I'm seeing, and even though I've been out of the game, I still hear the same two words over and over again, and it's church hurt. Whether someone has been hurt in the church or whether the people in the church are vilifying those who've been hurt. So I'm going to be looking at building a community of individuals who have been hurt in the church, who have experienced church hurt, and like I've experienced church hurt. Okay? We can together deal with our own pains so that it doesn't overtake us, so that we're not bitter for the rest of our lives, like I had to deal with for about 10, years
right
within the CFR, and just trying to trying to erase my pain without actually dealing with my pain. So that's going to be more of my focus going forward. And it's been a tough road. And just to share one story, and I told Marcellus about this. I watched that video of that bishop marrying Buddy, and it moves me in such a way. I haven't been emotional about something like this in a long time. And it had nothing to do with what she said. It had everything to do with the fact that she stood up to a person in power, the ultimate person in power right now, stood up to him and basically gave the truth to what she believed was the truth.
Right.
And I was saying to myself, yeah, I used to do that. I used to stand up to the preachers and and go in front of the preachers and do all that stuff, and I kind of missed it. So yeah, I'm coming back, but I'm looking at it not as a way of trying to destroy the church. This institution is going to be here.
Correct.
I went with the whole reckless abandon to burn it all down. Just tear it all down, burn it all down.
Right.
It's going to be here. So I'm looking at ways of trying to work, from the outside to the inside, so that we can help people.
Right.
Help people who are dealing with the church problem that they have in their lives.
Right.
So yeah, I'll deal with that a little bit more, but I just wanted to say, you can look for me there. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Leonard D. Robinson II. It also says for the nickname as Truthseeker. I'm on Instagram. If you like vinyl music, I'm on Instagram. Cigars is on Instagram. Plus, I'm going to be on Blue Sky. Going to be on Fanbase. Going to be on Substack. Going to be on. I'm leaving Twitter alone, but I'm going to be
so
on.
am I.
I'm going to be on. Substack, Reddit. Because I'm looking. What's the other one? The other one. My son is big on that.
You talking about TikTok?
Yeah, I'll be on TikTok, but not TikTok, but yeah. It's a message board site.
Don't ask me, sir.
To like Reddit.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
That's them young people. I don't know that.
All the different places where you'll be able to find me, because oh, by the way, I know that I'm on TikTok, even though I don't have a TikTok account now. I've seen from people shared with me videos of me on TikTok, so you can find me on TikTok somehow. I don't know.
Right.
But no, but seriously, I'm going to basically come out with a new with a new vision of trying to actually help people.
Right.
Instead of just exposing the problems.
Right.
Because when you just expose the problems without a solution, that's just like how people that I've been around on the left side, because like you said, I'm the liberal. I was the liberal in the group. I was the one long time ago sitting up there like, why are we bashing gay folk and all this other stuff, and actually doing all that stuff. But that's another story. Those were some of the fist fights that we were having.
Absolutely.
But on my side, a couple years ago, everyone was talking about abolish the police, abolish the prisons. But what are we going to do with the people that we got there? What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with not having police? How are we going to do this? We're going to have counselors. That don't make no damn sense.
Right.
But there are solutions. We can find solutions.
Now let me tell you.
We got to understand our problems.
Right.
We got to understand the problem within the church.
Let me
so that we
bring
can
let me
actually
bring
find
this in.
solutions.
Let me bring this in.
Yeah.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, Leonard would not be a stranger to the channel. When he gets ready to launch his stuff, we'll bring him back. We'll have some great conversations. He's doing exactly what we're doing over here at Mad Church Disease. We're discussing the issues, but we're also dealing with the hurts, the pains, the traumas, etc. We're also, of course, gone beyond that to help people who are in the institutional church, who are coming out, people who are struggling, people who are dealing with whatever. So we're doing all of those things that he's talking about. He's just going to start doing that on a greater level like we're doing it. So we're celebrating him. We're thanking him for coming on and for doing the work. I put his links in the chat for you guys. If he has his links on his on his YouTube channel, you guys can even find out more about that. So just go over there and click on the links. Leonard is most certainly a truth seeker. Now understand this, and over here at the Mad Church Disease channel, we deal with mature Christians. We don't have to always agree along in order to get along. So we can come on and disagree with one another and still be respectful and loving towards one another. You guys know I am very big on that. And so if somebody happens to disagree with you, doesn't mean they're your enemy. And it doesn't mean that you have to go after them and go on your YouTube channel and attack them. It just means they just disagree with you. And it's okay to just have somebody to disagree with you. Simple as that. But Leonard, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to do some final thoughts here, and then I'm going to get on off here. But I definitely want to thank you so much. I know you got to go back to work. Appreciate you, brother. Do your best, and you just let me know. You text me when you want to come back on, and we'll go ahead and get everybody over there so we can support you even more.
We'll do.
All right, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. That's Leonard the Truthseeker, guys. Thank you so very much for being patient. Listen here. I've been talking, and we've been talking for this long time. I have not taken a look at the likes. I've not taken a look at anything. But the only thing that I want to do right now is just make sure that those of you that support the channel, please make sure that you do so that I can finish my Larry Reid stuff. Right now, I did see that we had about 6. We still need about 6 of y'all to send the $12. Y'all know I don't play no games when it comes to that. That is our number that we are currently on right now. I need for you all to support the channel. Make sure that if you have not supported the channel yet, to go on and do that. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Once we reach our goal, ladies and gentlemen, I will let you know that the goal has been reached. But I want to go over a couple of things if you were late coming here. We have reached 17,000 subscribers on the Mad Church Disease channel. So we have done that. We have reached it. I want to see how fast we can get to about 19,000 subscribers. So I want to jump that up by 2,000 subscribers. So let's see what we can do, because this is the section of YouTube that nobody watches. But I want to share something with you guys as well. We've also crossed over the 2 million mark as far as views is concerned. This is awesome for a very, very small channel. I still consider myself a very small channel. And the reason why I do that is because most of these guys don't get to 2 million views until they have put like a lot of videos up. Well, we're still dealing with about 200 and something videos, and we've got over 2 million views. If you go look at Leonard's channel that I put in the chat, all of my friends who understand social media and do very well, Leonard is currently at 13,000 subscribers, and he's been gone for a number of years. And so that just let you know, we know a little something when it comes to building platforms and building this stuff. And so trust me when I tell you, we most certainly don't need to hang on anyone else's podcast or YouTube channel in order to grow our channels. So I put that back in there for you guys so that you can see that. I'm also going to be bringing back my YouTube classes for you guys, especially for those of you that need help with your YouTube channels. I'm going to be sharing with you guys in a couple of weeks how you guys can do that. Now, I most certainly want you guys to support the channel. Thank you so very much for the few of you who have done that. I really do appreciate it. Let me see where the number we are. Because the thing about it is I'm not going to sit here all day and all night with that. So you guys know I will go on about my business. And if hey, that's just what I do. Make sure that you hit the hit the like button. What's up, Vincent V. Terrell Hill? Good to see you here. So very thankful for the live that you did yesterday. And Vincent, if you didn't have a chance to see my earlier live from today, you might want to go back and watch it. I did a little bit of talking about you and the anxiety that I could see that was on you in regards to what you had to do last night. But I'm grateful that you did it anyway. And not 2 million subscribers. I ain't got 2 million subscribers yet. That's 2 million views. 2 million views. 2 million subscribers, I'd be doing Tasha K numbers. That's 17,000 subscribers, but 2 million views. And shout out to all of the members, all of the subscribers to the channel. Y'all, please make sure y'all hit the button. If you come by this video and you are watching the replay, just understand that we may not have necessarily hit our goal and hit our budget, but I want all of you that want to give and want to support the Mad Church Disease channel, please do so, because you know they swear up and down don't nobody support us anyway. But I just want to let you guys know we're moving toward that goal. So thank y'all so very much. Just so you know, hopefully you can see that it hit the so that you can see we're hitting toward the goal. Thank y'all so very much. And if you have not done and you're watching the replay, you can be one of those supporters as well. I don't know if anybody wants to come up. I will drop the link for you if anybody has anything to say or they had a question. And I'm sorry that Leonard's gone, because I wanted to get Leonard up here. Yeah, and in my anatomical voice, I'm just gonna say do. I blew the shofar. There it is, right there. The shofar. So it has been blown. But if anybody has any questions or concerns, you can do that. And remember that Leonard's information has been put in there for you guys as well. And I saw something flicker over here, so I think somebody was trying to come in. So if you're trying to come in and ask a question, just make sure that you come back and do that. I wanted you guys to hear it from Leonard that there was another person that was added, I guess, to that. They went through something on that last trial or whatever. And so, yeah, so I just wanted that to be done. Mari, I know, right? Do, right? But I appreciate every single one of you that love and support the Mad Church Disease channel. You guys mean the world. You really, really do mean the world to me. Now, I'm about to go get me watch me a movie. I'm gonna go chill out and I'm gonna go rest my weary bones. Somebody said they'll catch the replay. Thank you to all of you. Remember to support the Mad Church Disease channel because we are moving forward. Shout out to Tasha Global and all of the great content creators who came in the chat. Vincent Terrell Hill, Miss T Pre, I know she was in my live earlier this morning. Shout out to all the content creators who are on their job. Somebody says so much going on and it's only January. I know that's right. Well, see, Tasha, the more you do vlogging, you will realize you will never run out of content. I have told these content creators there's always something going on. So you will always have commentary to speak about. Trust me when I tell you, especially as it relates to the institutional church. They can get mad for us talking about it. But the fact of the matter is, if they wasn't doing it, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all on my next video. And we'll definitely be talking about trending topics, whatever's out in the media. We'll definitely deal with those things. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all greatly. Thank y'all. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. Please make sure that you hit the like button and please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell icon and make sure you press all notifications so that way you will never miss any of the exclusive content that comes on my channel. Make sure that you never miss a video. Now, I try to go live every day about 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then I come back at night at around 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 10:30 Eastern Standard, with some more exclusive content. So if you want more Mad Church Disease show content, we'd love for you to become a member, a revolutionary member of our channel. Please make sure that you hit the join button that's right next to the subscribe button or somewhere around here so that you guys can receive access to special community posts. You guys get all of the access to my community only lives because we've got some sipping chats that we're going to be doing, and you guys will get exclusive content. So just make sure that you head on over to the channel page, click on the join button, and make sure that you do that. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your love and support, and I'll see you on my very next video.